everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Super Bowl props extravaganza, everybody. As always, if you're having a little fun, ready to make a little money on the Super Bowl, we'd appreciate it if you would give us the old like, give us the thumbs up, and tell us how much you're digging our little show here today in sports betting. Scott, you got Super Bowl fever yet? I noticed you don't have any Chiefs gear on. What's up?
Well, the issue there is that I don't have any Chiefs gear and I don't have any Buccaneers gear. I have a Jets jersey, which doesn't apply at all, besides maybe in my fantasies. And, so I decided to stick with the same outfit I wore in the morning show because I don't really have anything that's festive for the occasion.
Right. Well, that's fair enough. I'm going to guess your jersey number here. You have you don't have a Darnold jersey. Jamal Adams?
The truth is that I haven't gotten a new Jets jersey in a long time.
Don Maynard?
Well, the truth is I was in college for most of the NFL season for the last couple of years, so I never really got to go to games. I haven't gone to a Jets game in New York or Jersey, you know the technicality there, in about 6 years, 7 years. It's been a long time.
You only wear your Chiefs your team gear at the game?
I'm saying it's a little weird to wear a Jets jersey in public in general, and especially in Wisconsin where nobody will know what your problem is.
Oh, you should come here, buddy. You should come to KC. I would say literally
implies that I actually have the courage to admit I'm a Jets fan.
You get a lot of sympathy.
I had a Jets sweatshirt. And I felt bad because everyone on the bus was offering me their seats because I've had such a tough time period, over the last 5 years or so. But no, I kind of just keep it in hiding. But I actually, fun fact, I had a jersey when I was like 7 years old, around there. DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
Oh, nice.
I really went offensive lineman. That's where I was rolling. 7 might be an exaggeration. I think it might have been 10. But still,
we'd have been here for a minute if I was going to try to guess that. So.
Well, he retired, but he was a very good tackle.
And do you still have and you have a current jersey? I mean, you have a jersey that fits now? I
actually do not.
Okay, so that's the only jersey you've owned.
The issue is that I have to find the right player that I can actually, buy for a jersey, and Jamal Adams was probably the guy, and then he got traded. So it's a good thing I didn't pull the trigger on that one.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, my friend. Well, let's dive into it. It's I don't know, Scott, if this is – are more people more excited about the props than they are betting on the sides? It's been a pretty boring as far as the line movement goes. It's been Chiefs at 3.5 every once in a while, then back down to 3. It's not too much excitement, not too much injury news. So are people looking more forward to the props, do you think?
I have to assume so.
Yeah.
Especially in social settings. I guarantee you the sports book, if any are open, is going to have the biggest reaction. Anything compared to the game? Coin toss.
Coin toss.
I'll take coin toss 98% of the time.
Yeah,
with the exception of maybe one Tyree catch in the fourth quarter.
Back in the day, I was at a sports book for the Super Bowl one time, and
I feel like that's a great time, but I'm sure you have to reserve your seats and everything.
Yes and yes.
Yeah, I don't know how expensive it is, but I'm assuming it's not cheap.
No, it's not horrible. It's the part that's it's not cheap is betting enough money to have them take your call.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway. Okay. So I don't know how you want to do it. If you want to do, we just kind of want to do some of our favorite props and then maybe a long shot. You got a big number.
I always have a long shot prepared.
You got a big number on a prop. Okay, cool.
I got a number in the plus 500s. I don't know what you're looking for an official long shot, but something in that realm.
I got 34-1.
Okay. That's a good one.
All right. Well, let's start off. I'll start off first. We talked about this. You and I have talked about this off air. This is probably my favorite prop, and this is I don't even know if this is an official adjective, but this is the lockiest prop that I have for the weekend. And we also talked, by the way, about most of your prop winners are going to be big underdog. I mean, big favorites. You're going to be laying a lot of wood on prop bets that are going to be successful. So
I remember a comparison. I know we talked about Dave Mason. You guys brought up the election. It's kind of similar to the individual states with the Electoral College and who's going to be voting for what. Most of the big winners are like the minus 1,000s, and it should be minus 40,000. and
Yeah.
you're collecting free money. And
Yeah.
I feel like the Super Bowl has a lot of cases like that. I know no safety was a good one before. Safeties kind of went nuts over the last 15 years. But no safety was almost a lock, and you're throwing in, I don't even know what no is, usually around like minus 1,000, minus like something like, no, yeah, it's probably more than that, minus whatever. But the point is that you never lost because the odds of a safety are so slim that people would just slam it. And for the probability perspective, you're going to win that bet 98% of the time, like usually.
Yeah. And a lot of times you're only going to see nowadays, you're only going to see one side of that bet.
Yeah.
Overtime is another one.
Hmm.
Where you're only going to see some total that's nowhere near reflective of the value, like, plus 1,200 or something for overtime, which there's been one game that went into overtime. Scott, do you know what that was right off the bat?
Yeah, it was the Patriots Falcons.
So good, this guy. So good. Yeah, one time in 54 Super Bowls has it gone to overtime. So
they'll give you like 12-1 for the yes on overtime.
That's what I'm saying.
And really ripping me off.
And they're not, but they usually don't even put up the other side and bother with the minus 1,000 or minus 10,000 or whatever, where you're going to lay some exorbitant amount. So I'm going to start off with what I think is a very good prop, and that is Patrick Mahomes' first pass to be completed. And you can find this at minus 250. Scott, I wish I'd have written that because I was all over the place. I didn't make a note of who had what, so. My apologies. You're going to have to sort around, and you might find a better number. Minus 250 is the number. And the reason I like this, Scott, is in 17 games this season, I'm not going to ask you how many he's completed because I know I've already told you. In 17 games, his first pass has been completed exactly 16 times. He missed against the Chargers, and technically he missed against the Baltimore Ravens, but they had a penalty on the play, so the play did not count, and his next pass was completed. So 16 of the 17 games that Pat Mahomes started, he's completed his first pass. I didn't do the math, but only having to lay minus 250, you're laying 5-2. Those are good odds compared to laying 16 to 1 to 16, which is what you should be. You should be somewhere around 16 to 6%. So yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite play on the board right there. And yeah, you got to lay some money, but it's a solid play.
Yeah. Well, as you mentioned, it BetOnline does have first pass temp at minus 225.
Minus 225.
Yeah.
Even better. Okay, I like it.
On BetOnline.
Okay, good.
Cool.
All right. What's your first prop, my friend?
So I know I just mentioned and we just talked about how Big Chalk tends to take it most of the time. I really didn't pick any huge chalk plays this time around. I kind of just decided to sprinkle, just find some stuff I think there's some value on. I have one long shot, but nothing above minus 134 actually. So I'm going to start off with the biggest chalk that I'm laying right now, and it is minus 134 on DraftKings. It kind of touches on what we talked about for my thoughts on the first half under in the video where we gave our actual predictions on the game. I like the second half to be the highest scoring half at minus 134 on DraftKings. If you follow the Super Bowls in recent years, you've had a couple of exceptions, but for the most part, the first half tends to be more of a feeling out process, and the second half explodes, especially in Brady Super Bowls where we've talked about in the past how he has like 3 combined points or like he has 0 touchdowns in the first quarter of all of the Super Bowls. So if you're looking at a potentially low-scoring first quarter and a potentially low-scoring first half, usually you see a lot of fireworks late, and I think you'll see a similar script in this one. So for me, I think second half to be highest scoring half at minus 134 on DraftKings is a pretty solid deal. You have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's a good play. For whatever reason, the first quarters have generally not gotten off to a big start. We talked about a lot of the reasons on today's show with Brady and some of our conjecture about why that would be. But when you take one quarter out of the equation, you're definitely going to want to lean towards the second half. I think that's a good price. I think minus 134.
I thought it was going to be higher. I thought it was going to be around the minus 150 range, but I'll take 134.
Yeah, agreed. I've got a couple of well, here I'll lay one here, and this is going to be more of a feel situation. We've got total field goals between these two teams at under 3.5, minus 110. So we're just paying regular juice on that. and this is just more how you project the game flow to go. I think that these guys, both of these coaches, have shown a tendency to go for it on fourth down on anytime you're on the plus side of the field, and I would say down a distance, fourth and 5 or less. I think both of these teams realize that field goals are not going to win games, and they saw that in both of their playoff games over the course of this season, as Buffalo traded field goals for touchdowns with Kansas City there in the crucial second half. That did not work out well. And, of course, as we well documented, Matt LaFleur was rightfully roasted for going for a field goal late in the game against Tampa Bay and they never got the ball back. So I think both of these coaches and teams realized field goals are not going to win these games. Sure, are there somebody going to stall out, have a pass dropped, a penalty in the red zone? Sure. But for the most part, I think this is going to be a game of putting the biscuit in the basket, and I like the under 3.5 field goals there, -110.
Well, that kind of takes me into my second prop, which is very, very similar but very different. I was actually thinking about doing the exact same prop that you just mentioned. Instead, I decided to get creative with DraftKings. They have total field goal yardage under 125.5. And I'm going to take it at -130 on DraftKings. Same reasons that you just mentioned.
Okay.
It's just a matter of, I think people know, especially after Buffalo last game, settled for all those field goals and got absolutely killed by Kansas City. I think Arians knows we got to put up touchdowns or nothing. So I really don't see many field goals in this game, as you just said. I know Butker has a pretty good leg. He has been a little bit inconsistent lately. I don't think Suckup has the greatest leg. He's accurate, but for distance, he's not exactly a long shot field goal guy. That's really not his forte.
Nothing over 50, I don't think.
Correct. And plus, it's outdoors. I know we talked about how the thunderstorms and everything seem to be a little bit before the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a chance the turf might be a little bit wet. So I'm not sure if the kicking game will be as strong. You might see a missed field goal or two in this one. Truth is, I liked both. I liked your thing also. I was really kind of torn between.
It's just about the same bet.
Basically is. I know you could get a long 50-something yarder by Butker before the half. I just don't see Suckup doing the same. So for that reason, I think Tampa will treat it kind of like we did against Green Bay, where if they're in a 4th and 3 situation around the 40-yard line, they're going for it. And I think that they'll set up for a situation where both teams know we need touchdowns and not field goals. And I, for that reason, think both of those plays between us should work out pretty well.
Yeah, you're paying that a little bit of extra juice for the possibility that you might be able to squeeze 4 short field goals in there. If you have 2 situations where maybe it's 1st and goal from the 10 and, they're unable to gain much yardage, maybe you get a run for 2 yards and then 2 incomplete passes where you're kicking some kind of field goal under 30 yards, you might be able to squeeze out. You might be able to squeeze out 4 field goals if things just went right. So
Reed every now and then, despite having Mahomes, does occasionally be conservative and kick a field goal in like 4th and 2 in the red zone.
Yeah, and they were, and this is a Chiefs team that was absolutely dreadful in the red zone for the first half of the season. So, in fact, they were bottom 5 in red zone, which is just counterintuitive when you think about this offense.
So you throw in a couple of 27-yard field goals or so.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If you can get 2 under 30, then you've got a chance to eke out that 4th field goal. Just obviously depending on the distance.
Assume that you even get 4 at all, which I don't think you will.
No, that's kind of why I'm making that play as well. So
I kind of like the DraftKings one. I found DraftKings had a lot of props that were kind of outside the box.
Yep.
And maybe just the wording there, total field goal yardage, is something I can say I've never seen before in my life. And I was interested. So there you go.
Yeah, I like that.
Have you ever seen that before?
No.
I've never heard of that before in my life.
No, I don't.
I was intrigued.
Did you take any cross-sport props?
I was actually thinking about it. I know that BetOnline had one between, I think it was, what was it? It was like Mahomes, or it was like accepted penalties versus penalties in the Man U game against like something like with soccer cross. I'm like, this is kind of a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, I saw Hill receiving yards versus Nick's points.
That's fun.
So I think that's the
truth is you should probably take Nick's points because you have the player total at around 90 or so, 90 and a half. And in an NBA game, you should score at least 105 in pretty much every game.
Well, Scott, that leads me into my next prop. I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill over 92 and a half yards receiving, and that's minus 130. That is DraftKings. I did write that one down. Just a few stats for you. In Super Bowl last year, he was 9 for 105 on 16 targets, 2 playoff games this season so far. He's caught 17 passes, 282 yards, 21 targets. And of course, as we've talked about ad nauseum, he was had a pretty good day against the Bucs the last time, catching 13 balls on 15 targets for 200.
He was on pace for about 820 receiving yards.
Yeah, like I said, he put up 230 in the first quarter. So I like Hill to get loose. They are, by the way, since you and I did the show this morning, the news is everybody is good to go in the Tampa Bay secondary. Both safeties will be making the start, so they're both cleared. I don't think that matters for this one. He's gonna eat, and I like Hill to have a good number of catches, which and I was going to make this a separate prop. I'm going to take him over 7.5 receptions as well. Since week 8, he's averaged 10.7 targets per game. I think that puts him in a good position to go over the 7.5. So I'll take both of the Hill positive props there as far as receiving yards and number of receptions.
Yeah, well, that takes me into my prop, which I have here. I like Tyreek Hill over 90 and a half receiving yards at minus 125 on Fox Bet. I know you said 92 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I found at 90 and a half on Fox Bet at minus 125.
Good time to say our obligatory shop your lines. And it's never, ever, ever more important than on prop bets in the Super Bowl, because you will find.
Because every book has something, and most of them are probably giving you terrible value.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, but same reasons you just mentioned. Hill, simply put, Tampa's defense, I know it has been solid so far during the course of the playoffs, but I just don't think anybody on this team can match up with Tyreek Hill. And I know that Devontae Adams didn't have the greatest statistical performance against Tampa. He was wide open a decent amount, and it just seemed like Rodgers and him couldn't connect on a couple of passes there.
Yep.
And Hill's always a threat on one missed coverage, one situation to take it 70-something yards to the crib.
He does a great job of getting separation, and man, there's nobody more dangerous once he has that separation.
They might throw him one of those touch pass forward things, and he could take it 30 yards. Like, it just seems like anytime Hill gets the ball in his hands, he's a threat to take it distance. And I think that if Tampa doesn't keep an eye on him for every single play, which I think he might slip for a couple, you might only need 2 receptions, and you'll still get 120 yards.
It's possible. It's definitely possible. Carlton Davis didn't look great against Hill last time out. So
because Davis is more of a physical corner, but the issue is that if he just beats him at the line, Davis is dead to rights.
Yeah.
So and you can't really shadow with one of the safeties. That just will leave Kelsey in one-on-one coverage, and that creates a whole matchup disaster in itself. So I don't know what Tampa's supposed to do besides, I don't know, praying that they just don't complete passes to Tyreek Hill.
They're gonna have to really count on their pass rush to get home.
Can you shadow? I don't know if you can. On Hill, they might try, but I mean, you still have Kelsey over the middle. Mahomes can extend plays. Hill's also extremely, extremely fast. I don't really know what you're supposed to really do about him.
Well, funny you should mention that. That's going to bring me. That's going to be the setup for my last prop. I'm gonna bring my long shot home for the last one. So, in the meantime, who's up? You up?
I just mentioned the Tyreek Hill one.
Okay.
We both had the same prop. So
okay. So, but you got a better number. You got 90 and a half.
And minus 125 on Fox Bet.
How about a middle shot, Scott? Can I interest you in a middle shot?
Okay.
I've got Kelsey over 94 and a half yards, and at another site, I've got him under 100 and a half.
Okay.
I'm catching almost 5% arbitrage value there, my friend. And
I don't know what usually you look for when it comes to overlap with yards. I'm usually somewhere in the 10-yard range, but still, that's not bad.
I look for a percentage.
Yeah.
I look for a percentage, and if I'm getting, like I said, I'm getting almost 5% as far as the percentage goes, I'll take that. That's a good arb bet right there. He's got a median of 98 yards in 17 games this season. He's this is probably, if you wanted to play one side of this, I'd play the over 94.5. This bet is 12-5 on the season since week 8. It's 8-2. 2 playoff games. He's gone 21 of 25 targets, 227, 3 touchdowns. So, but if you wanted to take a little fun middle shot, now the problem is right now I've got that heavily juiced on the over. So you either try to find a little better number or a little better odds. So definitely shop around if you wanted to try to take a middle shot there with that one. All right, what you got?
So my next one is going to be on a prop I mentioned to you before we went on air. This one, you can find better numbers. However, there's one caveat that one book does provide that others don't, and that is going to be on the first reception over or under yards. You can find that on pretty much every book. FanDuel had it. I believe DraftKings had it. BetOnline has it. Now, most books have the ruling that if the player does not record a reception, it's a loss. That's usually how it works.
Right.
However, BetOnline is the only book that I found where no reception means no action, and you get a refund. So even though you might be losing a yard or two, the idea that you have a built-in, I'd say, mulligan or whatever, if the player gets injured in the first quarter and doesn't play or something fluky happens, then you aren't officially just wasting your entire money for nothing to happen. So that takes me into this prop here. It's going to be on Antonio Brown, and that's why I kind of wanted the no reception to be no action, because I'm not really fully certain how healthy Brown is. I know he was a full participant in practice, but I don't know if he can actually stay healthy or if he'll just be a decoy in this game. But BetOnline currently has his first reception over under 9.5 yards. I'll take the over on that one at -115 on BetOnline. I'd simply put Antonio Brown, I don't exactly think of him as an underneath receiver. I just think that if he's fully healthy, and the fact that Evans has been pretty streaky at times, Godwin's more of a slot guy from what they've been using in the current offense, I think Brown should have some decent chances to, maybe a comeback right at the sticks, slant over the middle, something along those lines, and I don't really see him catching a screen pass or anything like that. So for me, I just think 9.5 is a little bit too low, especially with the built-in refund if he's not healthy and he barely plays. I just think Brown should have some 101 spots, and Brown, even though he's a head case, is a very solid man-to-man beater, and I think he'll be able to find some openings. So for that reason, I like Antonio Brown, first reception, over 9.5 at -115 on BetOnline. You have any thoughts?
All right, very good. Yeah, I think that's solid. You've got the built-in mulligan, like you said. I like that. The player that I told you to look for as well, if you can't find it, it's not up yet. It may be up over the weekend. They may have him on that list, or that list could be set. Is Denard Robinson of the Chiefs, who is basically
DeMarcus Robinson.
DeMarcus Robinson, sorry, Denard Robinson, another bad Chiefs receiver. DeMarcus Robinson cleared out of COVID protocol. Well, he's not. He's tested negative. He's got one more day to go. He's got to test negative tomorrow, and then he'll be good to go. So he could be a late addition to that list. And if that's the case, I like him to have under as well. So. Because he's another guy that may not catch a ball. So, all right.
Time for the long shots.
No, I'm going to do one here with Scott, and I'm going to tell you a bet that I'm not taking.
The Gatorade prop.
Well, and it is the Gatorade prop. Now, what would be any guesses on what the color of Gatorade would be?
I usually just guess orange.
Okay,
and orange usually seems like it's the most common.
Orange is the favorite this year, because that was the color that was dumped on Andy Reid last season as they won. Now, here's what I found out, and I read an article. They actually interviewed an ex-executive of Gatorade and about how that decision is made. The decision is actually made by Gatorade. They provide the team the colors. It's actually a pretty well kept secret. They put out 3 coolers of Gatorade on the table. They're each different colors. So it's completely random, as long as the players aren't looking. It's completely random as far as what the color is. So even if you knew which 3 colors were going to be provided, that's as far as you could take that bet down. So anybody that thinks they have an angle, the purple Gatorade fiasco of last year, Betting on orange, which is the favorite right now, it's all bullshit. It's all out the window. Pay no attention to it. If you wanted to play a Gatorade, take a long shot. That's what I'm saying to you.
I was just going to guess orange. I know the last couple of years, I don't remember the numbers, but orange seems to be the most common. But once again, I would never take chalk on a Gatorade prop. I wouldn't do it. If you asked me what I would guess orange, but I'm not going to play it.
All right. So I'm going to talk about real quick here, Scott, another prop. And this is just kind of an insight in how I do a little bit of research here. You can find Chiefs to score in every quarter. Now, you would think that might be a pretty good play, but of the 17 games this season, the Chiefs have scored in every quarter just 7 times. So it puts their probability of doing that about 41.1%, which means if you want to play that bet, you're going to have a better price than plus 143. If you wanted to play against it, you're going to have a better price than minus 143. And right now, the best I could find is minus 160 on the no side and plus 120 on the yes side. So neither one of those bets held enough value for me. So that's my advice to everybody out there: if you've got a bet you can research with a little bit of effort, do the work, because you might find yourself being able to get a better price somewhere, or just discarding the bet because there's no value there. All right. So anyway, what's your next one, bud? You got your long shot?
Yeah. So my long shot on this one is going to be one that you're probably going to hate.
Okay.
It's against the Chiefs. But I do think this number is a little bit too high, so I'm going to be taking it. It's once again on DraftKings, which I found to have the deepest and most thorough prop market. It's on Mahomes to lose a fumble, plus 550 on DraftKings.
Okay.
Now, the main reason why, I know we talked about it on air earlier today, and I seemed a little bit more concerned about the Chiefs' tackle issues than you did. People were talking about Tampa and how this defense should end up being able to get after Mahomes because of the injuries and the fact that you have Pierre-Paul and you have Shaq Barrett around both sides. People are taking over on sack props. People are taking overs on just both quarterbacks being pressured. It wouldn't surprise me to see Pierre-Paul or Barrett, when they go for a sack, maybe try to reach for the ball a little bit. We talked about how Tampa likes to force turnovers a lot in bunches. And I do think that Mahomes, since the Chiefs are going to be so reliant on throwing the ball because of the Buccaneers' elite rush defense, every pass attempt's another rep. And I think if you potentially maybe get somebody to come by his blind side, maybe knock the ball loose, I think you got a shot there. So plus 550, I think, is actually a decent price for a long shot. So I'll be going with that.
How many fumbles did he lose this year? Do you know?
Not many. It was a pure just offensive tackle handicap of, I think Tampa's defensive line should have some success.
Okay. Well, he did lose one against Tampa. How about that?
Yeah. And I remember that. That was the 3rd and goal at like the 10-yard line or whatever play, I think. Yeah. But plus 550, he already did it once this season against that team. I think it makes sense.
All right. Yeah, he's had 5 fumbles this season and lost 2 of them.
Okay.
So, what kind of price you getting on that?
Plus 550.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And he had one in the one matchup against the team he's about to face again, so I don't know how that factors in, but I just think that if you agree that Tampa's defensive line should be able to force pressure on Mahomes, I think it's worth maybe taking a sprinkle.
Okay.
Because you're going to end up getting 3 sacks from Tampa, not to mention a couple of bad snaps, which are ruled as fumbles lost by the quarterback. So you have a couple of some random stuff that could happen there. A mishandled pitch, a fancy play with some option thing where he drops the ball, a lot of other ways to do it. But if you think Tampa's defense gets 3 sacks or something like that, you might be able to cash it early. So I think plus 550 is worth a shot.
Okay. All right. Very good. I'm taking an extreme long shot, Scott. I'm going to take most receiving yards, McCole Hardman, plus 3,400. And the reasoning goes a little something like this. If they're somehow able to bracket both Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, limit the damage they can do, somebody's going to catch passes, Scott, for this Kansas City Chiefs team. They're not going to run the ball 30 times. So somebody's going to catch passes. Somebody's going to be open, and that somebody could be the second fastest guy on the field. That's right. That's for you, Scotty Miller. and that's McCole Hardman. As we saw last week, he's got fantastic breakaway speed. Get him in space, get him open in the seam, and it could turn into a long gainer, 70-plus yard touchdown pass. So again, is it likely to happen? No. If you played it 100 times, could it happen once? Yes. Therefore, I think we're getting a good price at plus 3,400.
Makes sense to me. I think when you talk about the race between Miller and Hill, it's possible that Hardman might have won the race against both of them.
Yeah, it's
I think Hardman's definitely in the conversation between being faster than Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill's got a little juke in him that McCole Hardman doesn't have. But as
and
far
we're talking about solo-on sprint, I think
straight line speed, yeah, you could be right. You could be right. I think the most impressive thing I saw Hill was when he caught Damian Williams last year.
Yeah,
Damian Williams is on a breakaway.
They're high-fiving each other on the way to the end zone.
Yeah, he passed him like Willie Mays Hayes on the first day of spring training for Major League. So, All right, got anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. So, do you want to just run by the recap real quick?
No, not at all. Yeah, let me see what I can do. Go ahead.
All right, so I'll just go in order. I got the second half to be the highest scoring half at minus 134 on DraftKings. I got total field goal yardage under 125.5 at minus 130 on DraftKings. I have Tyreek Hill over 90.5 receiving yards at minus 125 on Fox Bet. I have Antonio Brown first reception over 9.5 yards at minus 115 on Bet Online. On specifically Bet Online because no reception means no action. And Pat Mahomes fumble lost at plus 550 on DraftKings.
All right, I've got Tyreek Hill over 92.5 yards receiving, and you say you have that at 90.5. Did you say
90.5 at minus 125?
Yeah, because I had a 92.5 at minus 130, so I like your numbers there. So 90.5 is the official play there. Hill over 7.5 receptions. Kelsey over 94.5 receiving yards with a possible middle shot there if you can get the numbers massaged correctly. Got total field goals under 3.5. I've got Pat Mahomes' first pass to be completed at minus 250. And I've got most receiving yards in the game is McCole Hardman at plus 3,400.
Cool.
All right, there you go. I'm sorry, I had to spread out over about 3 sheets, or I had to remember what I was.
Let me ask, by the way, do you think there's any value in any particular players for the Super Bowl MVP? Or do you think just going to Brady or Mahomes?
Yes.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
Yeah, that's you'd be tempted by an offensive player or receiver, something like that.
Well, people are arguing for Tampa about you have the choice of Barrett or JPP because if you get a couple sacks and strip sack.
Yes, that's a possibility. If you get
a Von Miller type performance against
a strip sack with a return for a touchdown, 3 or 4 sacks, something like that, and Brady has an off day, then yeah, it's possible. But to me, if they didn't give it to Damian Williams last year,
I think it's pure narrative.
They really want to give it to a quarterback, and they really want to give it to Tom Brady.
That sounds like you should consider taking the quarterback to an MVP prop at minus 305.
Yeah, I think that's a good play right there.
That was on DraftKings as well. I thought about it. Maybe I'll play it, maybe I won't, but I think that's worth talking about.
What are the numbers on Shaq on JPP? Are plus 800 or so?
But I think it's higher than that. Let me just
maybe it's like 4, maybe 14, 16.
I know somebody found it offshore at like 125 to 1 like a couple weeks ago.
Okay, well that's worth a sniff.
But let me see if I can find it really quickly. Super Bowl MVP. Going through the line here, you have Barrett at 50 to 1, and you have JPP at 70 to 1.
Okay. Yeah, that's not
too bad. Do I think either of them are going to win? Well, we both like the Chiefs to win the game, so no. But if you think Tampa's going to win, you think it's going to take a Von Miller type performance, and Brady reverts to Peyton Manning in that Super Bowl where he basically does nothing for 4 quarters, then you got a shot. But a lot needs to go right for you to actually win a non-quarterback Super Bowl MVP. And I think with the narrative, with the changing of the guard, the passing of the baton, whatever you want to call it, I think it's a quarterback award this year.
Yeah, I do too. I think they. I think if Tampa Bay wins, I think they really want to give that to TP12 there, his going away present.
Yeah, and the line is in fact 305 for
Okay.
a quarterback to win MVP on DraftKings.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good prize. I mean, there might even probably even a little bit of value there. I'm just not interested. Yeah, that's tempting. You gonna play that?
I'll definitely consider it.
Yeah, I might take it for a unit or something.
Mm.
So, all right. Well, there you go. That's going to do it for our prop show for today in sports betting. If you guys got your favorite prop, whatever it is, drop it in the comment section. I'd love to see what everybody else is playing as far as prop action goes. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're looking for more information. Scott, do we have prop stuff over at Winners and Wonders? We have it up?
As far as I know, I'm pretty sure we have everything at Winners and Wonders.
All right. So make sure you stop by and check out Winners and Wonders for all your information on these bets and many others. Of course, deep dives into every game every single day, including, I believe there's a write-up on the Super Bowl over there. Pretty sure. So make sure you stop by and check that out. If you haven't listened to our show from this morning, we kind of previewed the actual game itself, so make sure you check that out as well. For myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at winnersandwiners.com, appreciate you guys stopping by. Have a great day. Wish you nothing but the best of luck, not just on the Super Bowl, but on your bets all weekend long. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into fat stacks back at the window. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.